What's up guys, welcome to Veldora-kun. From our previous episode, we have witnessed a meeting between top officials of the Kingdom of Dwarven. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I will put the link in the description below. Just a quick warning, these videos contain spoilers from the light novel. I also want to share to you my YouTube membership, Veldora's Loyal Knights. For more details, just click the join button below. Also, don't forget to join our Discord community, Veldora-kun Subordinates. The link is in the description. See you there. So now in this video we will review what happened next, which is the final decision of Dwarven Kingdom for the invitations. But before we will proceed, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Now without further ado, let's proceed with the video. Rimuru had indeed acquired astoundingly immense power, yet anyone who had witnessed how he treated others in life would undoubtedly know that he was someone worthy of trust. Right now they were on quite friendly terms with this Rimuru. Given this was the case, their relationship had to be maintained in the future. Gazel thinks that it was important that Rimuru mentioned he was originally from another world. He also had the ability to recreate the knowledge from the other world through his overpowered skills. The fact that he was pushing all this development forward, mainly to satisfy his own self-centered cravings for luxury, was nothing short of fascinating. Plus, his subordinates all greatly admired this trait of his and would carry out any task, no matter how challenging it may be. One example is the fact that Tempest and Dwarven Kingdom were already connected with a highway, winding its way over the mountains and through valleys and providing safe passage for anyone who used it. It was monsters under Rimuru's rule who were responsible for paving this road. And all it took was an idea and a simple word or two from him. Even things that the other otherworlders previously gave up trying due to a lack of funds or labor posed no problem to Demon Lord Rimuru. He had the core strength needed to brute force it all to life. He had a drive backed by an army of loyal monsters. Gazel thought that it truly makes people envious. No matter how difficult the problem, Rimuru could just offhandedly say, "Everyone, let's all work hard and find a solution." And his monsters would do their level best. Everyone would deem such an order to be natural and justified without question. That was the real terrifying side of that slime, his almost genius ability to win people's hearts. For better or for worse, this demon was an entertaining one. Gazel thought that maybe he was also being tricked, but that would be fine regardless, Gazel secretly admitted to himself. Gazel thinks it's a fascinating thought to think that what would happen if Rimuru tried to build a world according to his ideals. He wanted to see that one day. It would undoubtedly trigger the Tenma Great War, which is the war between heaven and monster. Rimuru probably knew about that and plans to just fight back. Tempest had a terrifying military force backing it up, and they could stand a chance to win against the army of heaven. If it came to that, Gazel concluded he must give them his support. He said, "The Demon Lord Rimuru and I may not be related by blood, yet we are as close as brothers. As long as he does not lose his heart for humanity, let us provide him with as much support as we can. We will welcome the arrival of a new age, a cultural enlightenment. If anyone objects to this, let them speak now." King Gazel's imposing voice surrounded the meeting hall. The military commanding-in-chief Vaughn replied with a laugh, "I support you, King Gazel. You are our big boss after all," and head of covert operatives Henrietta responded without hesitation, "My lord, I will always serve as your shadow and follow every whim of your heart." Old Granny Jane replied, "Go wild with your ideas. I am old and with my little time left to live, but if my last few years may be happy ones, I will follow King Gazel to the end of the world and until my death." She had lived since the time of the first king, and her declaration indicated her absolute support of King Gazel, no matter what. Dolph also said, "If that's what you'll have to say, I suppose I'll have to clean up the mess that results. There's gotta be someone to come out and intervene in case he gets out of control, right? He is the commander of the Pegasus Knight Order." This type of responsibility always fell on Dolph's shoulders, but he didn't resent them for that. The ministers still held out their own doubts, but no one could object. The heroes of Dwarven were in unison, and a new policy was forged. There was a reason for that. As a part of a nation leading the world in technology, something about building new civilizations struck a chord with them. As a nation, there hadn't been much progress despite their continuous efforts in technological research. Yet that demon lord had uncaringly and fearlessly pushed forward research at an unprecedented rate. Marquis Vesta, their former colleague, reported as much to them, and some in the room had started to envy the freedom the man enjoyed. The ministers showed off their thoughts. How dare Vesta Dono just leave and join that band? Unforgivable. I know, right? Have you heard? It is rumored that the roads there have even had new anti-monster barriers installed. And the lighting too. I hear of new communication devices under development as well. Developing potions alone must not be satisfying enough. It makes me outraged at what they are doing. After hearing the minister's words, Gazel just smiled wryly and clears his throat to signal them to stop. Hero King Gazel announced to everyone, I've come to a decision. Our nation must trust in the demon lord Rimuru and walk forward in unison with him. We will be the ones to accept and carry out the duties of preserving their technology. Thus, if they ever are defeated by the heavenly army, that technology will never be lost. This is the policy of mine, the policy of armored nation Dwargon. Nobody was ever going to complain about that since King Gazel always put his nation first, concerning himself with its future. The ministers all bowed their heads in expressing their agreement to his speech. Vaughn gave his comment, Kukuku, not letting go of the goods huh? It sounds a lot better to just say it, rather than wrapping it in lofty rhetoric. Vaughn's comment resonated with everyone present. It wasn't long before the conference ended, with the final item of deciding to accept the proposal from Holy Empire Ruberios. Some other civil officials could handle the procedures next to form pacts with not only Tempest Federation, but also the Holy Empire Ruberios. It wouldn't happen overnight, but the two nations would likely collaborate with Dwargon to prepare for the Tenma Great War. There was no way of telling yet whether this was the right move, but at the very least, Gazel was content. As everything appeared to be settled and King Gazel made his leave, one of the ministers raised his hand. The minister said, Your Majesty, may I borrow a moment of your time? And then he added, My lord, we have received a letter of invitation from Rigurd Dono. It states that Rimuru Dono will be holding a public presentation announcing his inauguration as a demon lord to the world. And he seeks for your attendance. Gazel was unable to guess Rimuru's reason, so he asks out loud, a presentation announcing his inauguration as demon lord? What in the world is that guy thinking? The other ministers began to argue. Just an excuse, I'm sure. He no doubt bids you to be present so he can boast to the world about how friendly we are with him. Hasn't that ceremony of his been hosted in our nation already? Wait, I've heard of this. Marquis Vesta told me about it before. The monster nation wishes to hold a grand festival to shore up its public image. I heard that Marquis Vesta acted as consultant in giving advice and even directing meticulously planned recreational programs. Vaughn's eyes started to glow after hearing the minister's intriguing words. He said, How interesting. I recall the hotel in that country was also rather amazing. You get to enjoy taking a pleasant hot spring bath. The food was delicious, and even the receptionists had great manners as well. I knew Vesta was training them, but he plainly did his job well. So the entertainment programs you mentioned will probably be quite interesting as well. Judging from Vaughn's look, even if Gazel didn't participate, he would probably volunteer himself in the king's place. Gazel contemplated for a bit and thinks that he doesn't have any idea on what is going on in Rimuru's head. Gazel knew Rimuru was probably making an effort to have the Western nations accept their kingdom, but this new act seemed to defy explanation. That's what made it so interesting to him. Gazel was trying very hard to suppress the urge to laugh. It was, after all, a difficult task trying to maintain prestige in front of the many ministers. The minister reported Rigurd's message as he trembles in fear. What is your bidding, my liege? Rigurd Dono did say it won't be easy to get His Majesty Gazel to be present, but if he is willing to attend the festival, we will be preparing the finest seat in hope of his arrival. They also seem to have informed the leaders of the other nations, so the available seats seem to be limited. He also warned us to reply as quickly as possible. After thinking it thoroughly, Gazelle made up his mind, I shall attend the presentation and take the opportunity to tour the city. The other ministers launched another round of complaints after hearing King Gazelle's decisive answer. My liege. No matter how friendly Sir Rimuru is with you, I seriously question the validity of this event. I have no idea to what extent they are planning to make these entertainment programs, but it should be easy for them to at least manage one seat. Indeed. And they did not specify how long the invite list was, but do they think the world's great leaders have all the time in the world on their hands? I don't think they would accept their invitations so easily. On top of that, Your Majesty, attending in person, will also lead to all sorts of problems. The ministers did make some good points. But Gazelle ignored their views outright. He responds to them, I am not so sure about your concerns. If anything, this move shows supreme confidence on his part. You all only know what that guy was like from when he visited our nation before. Now, as a demon lord, he is another creature entirely. Rimuru is being very direct with this festival, so we can expect much. Besides, I am sure many of us would like to explore the internal workings of Tempest. It wouldn't be strange if some people felt compelled to go check them out after receiving the invitations. As Vaughn has mentioned, the accommodation in that kingdom is amazing, and if they want to establish a guest list sooner rather than later, it must surely be so they can provide best service to their visitors. That's how I see it. As Gazelle finished, Vaughn added on in agreement, very true. After becoming a demon lord, he gave off a powerful aura. Very few people indeed could get away with treating Sir Rimuru like a fool nowadays. Even without representing the nation, I would still like to attend personally. Vaughn already planned to attend the festival, and he had requested Vesta to get him an invitation, even if it was just for himself. Gazelle already knew that most ministers would oppose the idea of him attending the festival in person. So he searched for a method to make them see things his way. He said, I will not be attending as the king either, but as his senior, to instruct him in person in case he gets looked down upon by people from the other nations. I must make it known to his neighbors that we of Dwargon are the first nation to make friends with Tempest. Some ministers began to realize Gazelle's motives and said, indeed. We have the closest ties of all to Rimuru-sama, and we have to show off this point to the other nations. Agreed. I heard that the people from Sarian also started ingratiating themselves to Rimuru Dono after he became a demon lord. Now would be a good time to show His Majesty in close consort with Rimuru-sama. It would do wonders to keep our rivals in check. Gazelle is delighted. To the invitation of Tempest Federation, they decided to attend as a nation. As for the ministers, this result was completely different from their expectations, yet remained to be the official and final decision. Soon after, a bunch of people came forth to present their wish to accompany the king to the festival, troubling Gazelle in selecting his companions. And that's it for my video. Now, it's shout-out time. I want to thank my beloved existing loyal knights. Next, I want to give a shout out to my Discord booster. Thank you for boosting the server twice. Thank you so much everyone. See you on my next upload.